Hey guys, welcome back to From the Depths, a show that focuses on Dungeon Synth, dark fantasy, ambient, black metal, all the good stuff. And it's been such a long time since I recorded one of these, and the backlog is insane. This is just a small portion I'm about to show you on this episode of what's actually come through the door at Record Room Towers. But I feel like if I showed everything, I would literally be here for the rest of the day. Some of this stuff I've listened to, some of it I haven't had a chance yet, so please bear with me. But this is all the stuff I've snagged, and I'm super pumped to show you guys. And starting off, I actually have two releases that I actually put out myself. They put these out through my In His Name label. First up, this is Putrid Marsh live in London. This is a live recording from the Albion Dungeon Fest that took place in February of this year. This is still available now on the In His Name web shop. I'll leave a link down below if you want to grab this. But it's very cool. It's a unique listening experience, something that you won't find anywhere else because the reclusive goblin does not repeat himself when he plays live. And the other one is Wendigo. Now, Wendigo is a side project of the man behind Cave Walker. I've spoken about Cave Walker on this channel before. Absolutely adore Cave Walker. So to get to do Wendigo was a big thrill for me. It really was. This is more like a darker version of Cave Walker. And Cave Walker is already very, very dark. So yeah, getting to do this was very cool indeed. I'm stoked to be able to release this stuff through my own label. The label is done out of pure joy. I never make any money from this stuff. So yeah, if you like things dark and creepy and music to terrify people with, grab yourself a copy of Wendigo. There are some copies left of that, not many. The Putrid Marsh, I do have a few copies of. There is so much stuff, I don't know where to start. But this one. Okay, so I'm on the internet, as one does, and I come across this picture. Now, this picture here, this is a picture of Brandon Lee as the Crow playing a Game Boy. And I was intrigued by this because Crow, one of my favorite films, had a massive effect on me when I was a younger person. And I was like, what's that? Is there another Crow release I didn't know about? Now, this is the Crow, and it's called Low Res Revenge. And I was like, what is that? And in doing my research, I was kind of already blown away, but then I listened to the material. There you go, there's the cassette itself. And what this is, and this genuinely will probably blow some of you away. This is the Crow soundtrack reconfigured as an 8-bit chiptune album. So all of the songs you know from the Crow soundtrack, I mean, there are many, they're all fairly famous, redone as 8-bit chiptune. Now, some people are just going to be like, that sounds awful. Fair enough, this might not be for you. But me, I listened to this. The level of intricacy and musicianship that has gone into creating this is unbelievably next level. I put this on and it's the Crow soundtrack. It's the Crow soundtrack, an album I know inside out, back to front, yada, yada, yada. But as 8-bit chiptune, it blew my mind when I first heard it online, and then I actually got the cassette. I don't know if I'd kind of built it up into my head to thinking, well, it can't possibly be as good as it is, but it really is. This wasn't made in a high quantity rather. You will have to Google around to get one of these, but I cannot say enough good things about this. Literally, this release has been one of like the biggest. I did not have that on my bingo card for this year, but I am so just unbelievably blown away by the Crow Low Res Revenge. I mean, for a start, the fact it's called Low Res Revenge is perfect. Medieval Prophecy Records drop next, because this one literally just showed up. I picked these up from Forbidden Keep out of the UK, who is the man behind the Albion Dungeon Fest. I saw him post about it and was like, I need that. Modern Prophecy. Why do I keep saying Modern Prophecy? Medieval Prophecy. They're a great label. I tend to buy almost everything on their drops, but I try and listen as much as possible. But this time around, I got 2 tapes and 2 LPs. I haven't had a chance to listen to these because they literally arrived Saturday. And so I picked up Lunar Sorcery. And this one is Diabolical Full Moon, the new cassette. What's it called? Desecrating the Sign of Christ. Nice, just rolls off the tongue there. If you're familiar with either of those, I'm sure I pretty have a good idea how they're going to sound. And I also picked up a couple of records. One of them is a reissue, which is the Stangreal. I don't know how to say that. I believe that's their first album EP. And then this is the new one. I have the one in between the two, but now I have all 3. So I'm stoked about them reissuing that album, the debut, and then picking up the new one as well. So thank you to Forbidden Keep for coming in clutch there with a Medieval Prophecy. Sometimes it's hard to get those records inside the UK for a decent price, because I don't know why some people just seem to think they are, because they're imports, they can charge an insane amount, which I'm not a fan of, but those are really, really cool. I mentioned on the last episode that I've been buying a lot from Sokol Keep, which is a UK-based Dungeon Synth label. Been around forever in one form or another. And I have a ton of stuff from them that some I have listened to, some I haven't. This is one that I picked up, and I listened to it once, but I wasn't really paying enough attention. I want to listen to it more. This is Eternal Druid, Forest of Illusions, which is very cool and came with this nifty patch, which I think you have to be one of the first to buy this. So I did jump online and grab this, but again, such a, how cool is that tape print? Eternal Druid is the same both sides, but it just looks so cool. And I have to say, unfortunately, I've been listening to a lot of this stuff digitally at the moment because I've been recording other things. I've been on the road, but I'm really looking forward to delving into that. I have some more Sokol Keep stuff coming on the way. I have some more stuff from Fogged Entity on the way. I have some more stuff from Fantasy Audio Magazine, I think it is, a label out of the US. There's tons of stuff coming in, so there will be another episode of this very, very soon. But a label that I've become a very big fan of recently, and as I just mentioned, Fogged Entity, it seems like a good way to segue into Secret Portal, which is, the Secret Portal is an offshoot of Fogged Entity. These are kind of, as I've said before, they're not bootleg cassettes, but they look like bootleg cassettes. They're kind of like photocopied J cards, things like that. But I love the DIY aesthetic of this. You know, I come from a hardcore background, growing up in the early 90s, and the do-it-yourself aesthetic, you know, everything I've ever done, I've always done myself. Wanted to start the YouTube channel, this, that, and the other, podcasting and all this stuff. It's just been a case of like, well, how do you do that? It can't be that hard. Let's figure it out. And so I have a few actually, but I've got these ones here because these two, I want to say these two only came out a little while ago. I've got Bark Dead Summer Song. Now, if you're noticing the image on the front, which is one Mr. L Face, who resides in Texas, there are some samples on this cassette. It's like this beautiful, dark, ambient song with some samples that you may well recognize. Cannot recommend the Bark Dead Summer enough. But this one right here, this one got to a brother. This one hit me right here, right in the feels. This is the air traffic controller. And sorry, the album's called Song for Arrivals. I spoke about how much I loved Air Traffic Controller before on this channel. Songs for Departures. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And the person behind Air Traffic Controller actually reached out, told me how much they how happy they were that I had enjoyed their music so much. And it was supposed to kind of really only be a one-off thing, or I think, you know, it wasn't supposed to be a project that went on for any length of time, which I was sad to hear. But then I heard that the artist had kind of been inspired a little bit by my fandom, and this one turned up, and this one this was sent to me as a thank you, which is incredible. I would happily have paid for it because it's fantastic. But this is the Air Traffic Controller song for Arrivals. And what's cool about this is I won't open up the J card because it is actually dedicated to me, but the album itself, like there's a personal dedication in here. So I won't show that bit, but there is some text at the bottom there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I'll read it out for you. And it says, "These songs are dedicated to Tony Giles, recorded Stoke Newington International Airport, London, whilst everyone else was fast asleep." It's not often I get sort of choked up or moved. I'm fortunate to work in the music industry, so I have my name on many albums. I've been fortunate to work on a lot of cool things. But when someone does something like this and it's completely out of the blue and it arrives, it blows my mind. Like it genuinely, I love the music on this. I would highly recommend checking out Air Traffic Controller. If you haven't done so already, Secret Portal is the label. darkestcircles.co.uk, I believe, is the web address. So all I can say is Air Traffic Controller. I hope you're watching this. Just know that you genuinely touched me. I'm blown away, and I will never not be blown away when someone does something like that, dedicates something to me, or appreciates my appreciation of them. You know, that is a very special thing. That one came out a scant couple of weeks ago. Then I saw there was another one as well, the Air Traffic Controller, Last Call for Ancient Runways. Now, these literally arrived just before I hit recording. So I have a new Air Traffic Controller and a new Bark Dead Summer Music for a Seance. I love this. I really do love seeing these things. Cannot wait to dive into these. But I also love it when I order and I get a dedicated note. You know, it's not something I do very often through my own label because I don't actually ship my own products. A company does it for me. This is just great. I love reading this stuff. Thanks again. Zone out to the new Bark Dead Summer. I love this. So darkestcircles.co.uk, UK only online store specializing in Dungeon Synth and orbiting genres, stocking vinyl, cassettes, CDs and more. The home of the Fogged Entity and Secret Portal labels. Cannot say enough good things about Darkest Circles. The shipping is like lightning fast. It's really good. It's really, really good. All the products turn up. They're great. I love them. Absolutely love them. Love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Much, much appreciated. And while I'm throwing out some love, remember guys, Out of Season are the sponsor for this show. So if you want to grab some Out of Season stuff, you can get some from Darkest Circles. And if you're in the US, obviously you just order direct. You can get one of these nifty new medieval synthesizer shirts. I believe there is a long sleeve version of this as well now, which I don't have, but that's okay because it's the summer months now and it is warm in the UK right now. It is very, very warm. Next bunch of stuff I've got to show you all come from the mighty Jems label. Now, if you're a fan of this channel or you've seen one of my videos before, you'll know that I'm a big fan of Jems Label. Love what those guys do. I've been fortunate enough to work with them on a couple of releases and they're killing it, absolutely killing it. What I have here, this is, I believe, the 4th or 5th vinyl variant of Sidon's Visual Kill, The Blossoming of Psychotic Depravity. This one was in a limited run of 100 copies, and this is a screen printed cover, so it doesn't have an obi. This is a screen printed cover. This is a very cool version of this LP, and I actually managed to snag a handful of, I think we've got maybe 6 of these left in the In His Name web shop. So if you wanted to grab one of these, be quick about it. What's cool about this one is, obviously comes in a polyline sleeve because those guys know what they're doing. And it comes on this badass orange vinyl, which is very, very nice. But that's not all. That's not all, because Jems don't just do normal releases. No, they have to show everyone else up with what they're doing. And look at this. So the album cover, shown it many times. But look at this beautiful illustration. Is that not the coolest? That for me right there is the selling point. That's, in fact, I'm gonna, right, look at that. I'm gonna do that. There we go. Look at that. Come on, you know you want to do this. Very, very limited. Very limited. If you want to grab one, be quick about it. And now, Sidon actually just went on tour with, I'm going to butcher the name of this. I can barely speak English. But they went on tour together, and they did some cool merch. So, I have here a split 7-inch. This is Sidon, like daggers in her womb, on one side. And I probably won't be able to tell you the name of the song because, yes, it's written in Kraish. But there you go. Got Sidon one side and Tra the other. It's a very thick black vinyl 7-inch. Show it to you. So you go. Sidon there, try there. I don't know if there are copies. There may still be copies of this on the Jems web store, but I know that once the tour finished, I think all the stuff that was left was put up, and it did kind of, it did go fairly quickly. And very cool. The Tra is cut at 33 and the Sidon's cut at 45. So 2 different speeds there. So make sure if you do grab a copy of this, your record player does not sound funky when you listen to either of these artists. You just need to change the speeds, which, believe it or not, I've actually had questions come to me before about records and why they don't sound right, and it's because someone was playing them at the wrong speed. There was that. Something you don't see very often, but this was a nice little surprise, and one I was not expecting. A bag! A Tra logo bag. Tra logo bag. I must find a way to say this. That's very cool. I was not expecting that. I was not, and I can always use bags. So yeah, pretty stoked about getting one of those. But I have been waiting for this stuff for a little while to arrive. And the reason I've been waiting for it is because it's all handmade. This is not like mass produced or anything. First up, I have a CD, and I know I don't normally talk about CDs, but this, my friend, is a CD. It's almost like a transformer. It's 2 things. This is a CD single of the Sidon song, Desecration of a Lustful Illusion, which there's a fantastic video about, of on the YouTubes, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And this is a CD single. You play one side, and it's Sidon, which is great. But then you take the CD, you pop the little adapter in, because it comes with a little adapter, which you can actually see in the middle there. You pop that little adapter in, and then you flip it over. And this is a lathe cut CD single that you can play on a turntable that plays an 8-bit version of the same song. Side on one side, 8-bit version on the other. I kid you not, playing this on my turntable was just mind-blowing. Matthias Hain, apologies if I am butchering your name. Music transposed by Matthias Hain. This was limited to 50 copies, and I've got number 34. I believe Jems will do some more of this because it was wildly popular, but flipping it over and playing that on a turntable, absolutely insanely crazy. But what's that in itself? Very cool, okay? But then What about a Game Boy version? What about an actual Game Boy version on an actual Game Boy cartridge? I kid you not. This is a real Game Boy cartridge. This is like a printed holder. It says Sign at the top, Jems Label at the bottom. Beautiful, beautiful kind of like 8-bit printed label. It says Nintendo Game Boy. This is insanely cool. Came with this side and poster, which you can see there is the guys in 8-bit form, but I'm going to go one better now because I have dug out my Game Boy. I'm going to click this bad boy in and I am going to show you a little snippet of this on the screen. So there we go. Game Boy in there. So I'll just say thank you for joining me on this episode of From the Depths. I really appreciate you sticking with me. Tons of stuff happening at the moment and it's getting harder to record videos, but I promise you there will be more. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you are subscribed. But for now, stay gold, spin those blackest circles and hold on to the very end.